Hey there, clan, and welcome to the Warriors' thoughts on Dragon Age Inquisition: The Jaws of Hakkon DLC, or Hakkor as I ended up calling it by mistake. So without further ado, let's dive into the intro and start this thing. Okay, so it's been Jaws of Hackon's been out for a while, at least on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It's been out for over a month, maybe two now. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember the exact release date of when it came out. But I know some people have asked me why haven't I talked about it before. The main reason is I have a Dragon Age Inquisition on PlayStation 4. So I had to wait. I do also have it on PC, but my main save was on the PlayStation 4, so I decided to wait until I beat it on PlayStation 4, until it came out on PlayStation 4. Unfortunately, something happened that resulted in me having to replay all of Dragon Age Inquisition on my PS4 due to the fact of a slight little error on mostly my part, but that's beside the point. I'm not going to go too much into that. But yeah, I had to wait for the PS4 version of Jaws of Hakkon, and when it came out around about the same time as Witcher 3, so I was playing mostly Witcher 3 while Jaws of Hakkon a little bit on the side, so that's why it's taken me so long to get to it, but I don't like to be rushed. I like to take my time with it. Now, you notice this isn't a review of Jaws of Hakkon, because, in all honesty, I don't think I can really review this DLC by this time. It's been over a month, so I thought I'd just give my quick thoughts. Now, most of you have already probably seen playthroughs, let's plays, or various other videos talking about it, like either by Lady Insanity, or maybe even Ability Drain, but I do want to talk and give my quick thoughts on Jaws of Hakkon, because I have some things to say, but I don't have a lot of things to say, so I will state this right here. If you have not beat Jaws of Hakkon, I would highly recommend you click off this video now, because I will be talking spoilers here, because I can't really talk about it. If you want to know if Jaws of Hakkon is worth the price that it's asking for, in my opinion, because if you're a hardcore Dragon Age fan like myself, a Dragon Age lore whore like myself, it's worth it. It's a good DLC in my opinion. It has a good amount of content. It adds more to the game, i.e. more weapons, more schematics, a couple of new resources, more enemies, and it adds more lore, which is always a plus to me. So if you haven't beaten, if you are interested in picking Jaws of Hakkon, I would definitely say it's at least worth picking up if you're a Dragon Age lore whore like myself. But I definitely don't think it's a necessary DLC. It's not a DLC that I think you have to own, in my opinion. So maybe if you want to wait for the wait for the Game of the Year edition, or whatever, the Dragon Age Inquisition Inquisitor edition, no, Inquisition Special Edition, or whatever the hell it's going to be called, that has all the DLCs, because they always end up releasing those eventually within like a year or two of it being out once all the DLCs are released. So maybe wait for that to come out. But, now that's been said, let's talk spoilers. Now, the main premise of Jaws of Hakkon is you do, after a bit of research, your Inquisition and your scholars and your resources have found out the final possible resting place of the first and only other Inquisitor in Chantry history. I cannot remember his name now because it's a weird name, but I think it's with a G. He was the first Inquisitor, and he disappeared after going to possibly hunt something involving the Avar. And basically he's kind of surrounded in mystery. He's described as a human. He's described as celibate. He's also described to be one of the greatest demon hunters of all time. A warrior, a fighter, a badass basically a badass. He hunted demons not because it was the righteous thing of the Chantry. And that's what he did. He was the first Inquisitor for a reason. He's considered to be an inspiration, a leader, and basically your predecessor. He was the Inquisitor before you, and that was over 800 years ago. And after playing through the game, we eventually find out why he was here. We find out that he was here due to the fact that the Avar, the Jaws of Hakkon Avar in particular, were going to be trying to put the soul of their god, of the Hakkon, his name, the Hakkon is the god, into the body of a dragon. And he was there to stop that, basically. Now, this DLC gives us a lot more insight into the Avar history. Now, the Avar we have not seen in the games proper, in my opinion. This is actually the first time we get to see the Avar in their full in their natural environment in a way. We have seen the Avar and other things like the Dragon Age lore books, World of Thedas books, and also the Dragon Age D&D books. Dragon Age RPG. But we really haven't seen them too much in the game beyond the codex entries. But here we get an insight into the Avar and their culture, why they act the way they are, why their opinions, their thoughts, their religion, their view on magic, which is completely different from the way the Chantry views it. And I actually really find the Avar quite fascinating, especially the fact that their mages in their society actually willingly allow spirits to possess them so they can be taught how to wield their magic and then let the spirit go after a lifetime. I actually kind of like that. They basically allow their people to become abominations, but they aren't abominations. They don't allow demons in, they allow spirits in. So it looks like the Avar found a way to communicate with mostly spirits in the Fade rather than demons, which I find that really fascinating. I really do like the lore behind them and all that. It's definitely, in my opinion, one of the more interesting aspects of this DLC is the fact that we get to learn a lot more about the Avar as a people rather than the tales that we've been told of the Avar being barbarian savages who don't understand culture. They do understand culture. They just like to make sure that the people down below kind of know that they're still here, because if you don't know, the Avar are basically what the original Ferelden's were like. Before the king, what's Alice? What the hell is his name? What the hell is his name? I cannot fucking remember his name now. The first king of Ferelden, basically. What is his name? What is his name? What? I need to know his name. Just seconds. I know they gave his name here, at least Merrick's last name. I cannot remember his name now. His name has literally drawn a blank. But if you don't know about, basically, the Avar, what the original Ferelden were, before the first king of Ferelden, Alistair's ancestor, managed to unite the majority of the previous original Fereldans into one large clan, in a way, and eventually fight off their oppressors and eventually claim their land. And that's how basically the current Ferelden was founded, is that they all are originally Avars, but now after many centuries they've become completely two different cultures. That name is bugging the hell out of me now. But that's basically what when you see the Avar, that is the culture of the original Fereldans before they became the Fereldans, of course. So that is how it works. That's the best way I can describe them, in my opinion. So it's kind of fascinating to go a little bit back in time and actually see the Avar based on the Ferelden, what it was like before the Ferelden currently. Before it was Ferelden then. So I kind of really like that. It gives us a good insight into the more lore, the better. So I definitely found that really fascinating. There's also a good amount of side quests in there where you can actually gain the respect of the Avar, and they eventually do, if you do it properly, they will respect you and see you as not just a visitor, but as one of their own, which I kind of like that. It's actually kind of nice to understand the culture and adapt to it and kind of respect it at the same time. So it's also very interesting to see how the Avar are more attuned to the spirits of the Fade than the demons. Like, they do struggle with their mages have the same problem as the mages of the rest of the Fade. They can be possessed. It's just kind of nice to see that they willingly allow themselves to be possessed by spirits, which I kind of like that. It actually kind of makes me want to learn more about them, and we do learn a good amount, but we don't learn everything. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, I loved learning about the Avar. I think the Avar are probably now very close to my favourite race or people in Thedas now, because I just find them so fascinating now, in all honesty. It's just kind of interesting. I like them. But to get back to the main story of the Jaws of Hakkon, the main story of Jaws of Hakkon is really good. I actually think it's very well written. The main plot is to stop the Jaws of Hakkon resurrecting their old god, basically. And now, do understand that the Jaws of Hakkon is a different faction of Avar. In fact, the Jaws of Hakkon, every other faction kind of just like, no, go away. Like they don't interfere with them, but if they attack, they will defend. And eventually, if you do get the side of the other Avar, they will be on your side, and they will actually actively help you fight the Jaws of Hakkon. So yeah, the Jaws of Hakkon are bad people. They're also extremely tough. Like, I went into this at level 18, and they're pretty tough. Like the level in this game, the levels in Jaws of Hakkon is like 20 plus, but I was able to eventually beat it. That's because I leveled quite quickly due to the experience. But this is very interesting. As we play through the Jaws of Hakkon and eventually get towards the end of it, the most fascinating thing in my opinion of the DLC, so last chance, spoiler alert, is that after we stop the Jaws of Hakkon reviving not reviving, but transferring the spirit of their god into another vessel, we see that the dragon's still there that has Hakkon's spirit in it, and so is the first Inquisitor. It turns out not only is the first Inquisitor there, but he is an elf, an original Dalish elf, by the way, a mage, and wasn't celibate. So kind of everything the Chantry said he was is wrong. We also throughout the DLC learn about his companions. We learn that he had a lover who he was madly in love with and who was madly in love with him. We actually do interact with a spirit that was possessing her. And it turns out that she actually died on the island trying to save him, and that we learn a lot about that through her. But I don't want to spoil that much, but we learn quite a lot about her, and it's very heartbreaking to find out what happened to her. The other companions eventually, of course, died. Some of them did not die, one or two did. But the Inquisitor, the first Inquisitor, we get to interact with him. We get to talk to him. He states that he had to cast a spell that bound him here along with Hakkon. So he's been basically sitting there with this spell locked in for over 800 years. I hope he wasn't too bored. But yeah, it turns out he's an elf. He had a lover, and he was not a warrior. He was a mage. And this stuns quite a few people. Mostly Cassandra. I had Cassandra in my party. She literally was like, what the heck? And even I was a lot like, what's going on? Huh? Because throughout the DLC we get little hints towards it. But there's certain at one point we come across an area where the first Inquisitor had taken rest, and we find Dalish statues, and we're just like, huh? And yeah, let's just say I was a bit of a surprise in all honesty. And then we find out that the Chantry knew this. Apparently the Chantry did know this. They just changed history because it didn't suit their needs, basically. It basically just gives you a big perspective of the fact that the Chantry lies. Yep, the Chantry freaking lies. It lied about its history because it wanted its history to suit its better needs. So, from the first Inquisitor, we learned that he didn't want to be the Inquisitor. He just kind of like yourself fell into it. He was asked by a friend to be the Inquisitor, and he says, okay, I'll be the Inquisitor because of friendship. We also learned that he wasn't even Andrastian. He believed in the Chantry, but he also believed in the elven gods as well. He was one of those. Sarah and Solus actually mention it in their dialogue together that's not exactly liked in this world. There aren't that many people who respect both religions. I actually like the first Inquisitor because he says something that I've always believed myself, is that it's something along the lines that he respects both religions and he understands them. And I respect all religions, I just don't follow them. So I kind of like the character. I just can't remember his bloody name, I do apologise. But he's an Andrastian elven follower. He believes in the both of them and he understands the purpose of both of them. In fact, he even wanted peace between the elves and the Chantry. He wanted peace between them so that the Darkspawn, which were a threat at the time, which was around about the time of a blight, he knew they needed to unite to verse the Darkspawn. In fact, he was actually in the process of basically negotiating peace. And due to the fact that he did not return, that resulted in no peace and also resulted in the Dales being exalted marched upon. So yeah, just think, if he had stopped the Hakkon, there may have been a major difference in the world of Thedas if he had been alive, if he was around about the time, if he hadn't had to bind himself to a god, basically. We learned so much about him. We also learned that more about the Seekers. Now we know everything we need to know about the Seekers, about the Rite of Tranquility, that basically every Seeker ever has been made tranquil, but they allowed a spirit of faith to come and restore that. We learned that basically he was like, yeah, that's not meant to be a punishment. That's meant to be a Seeker thing. That's meant to be something that's only been done permanently. He actually, from the way he talks, is disgusted to the fact that the Chantry used this as a punishment. He is disgusted. And I don't blame him, because that tranquility is one of the worst things you can put upon people. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually do think it should be a form of punishment, but should only be used in the most extreme circumstances for the most dangerous individuals who use magic. I think in my playthrough I only ever used it once, and it was on the guy who was using blood magic to bind the Grey Wardens to Corypheus. Because that guy, he wanted to die, he's evil, and if he still had his magic, I felt, no, tranquil. He was one of the only people I made tranquil in my opinion, because I think he was too dangerous to be left alone and also to die. So, I give him his worst punishment. I do think the Rite of Tranquility should be a punishment, but only for the most extreme circumstances. Even he states that it has become, from what you've detailed, it's become something more of something they do just to make sure, just in case. So he is disgusted by it, and he ends up talking more about what he unfortunately he doesn't have long. He actually, due to the influence of the Jaws of Hakkon, unfortunately, basically the god is going to come out, the dragon is going to come out, and he's going to die. Well, actually turn to dust and blow away like the wind. But he basically says he can tell. He says to you, I can tell you're a good Inquisitor, and he says, I know you can do it. I'm not strong enough to beat this thing, but I think you are. And it's kind of interesting. He gives us a bit of an insight into the world of Thedas before the games, like what things were like before the Chantry in a way. So I definitely like that, because that's probably my favourite part, is the fact that we got to get someone who told us about the world of Thedas before Andraste was about. And I actually really, well, not Andraste, but you know what I mean. But I like that, and it also definitely puts more credence to the fact that everything that the Chantry says is 80% probably a lie, i.e. their history. It definitely gives you that idea of playing around with the fact that religious organisations will manipulate history to benefit them. It's a fact in this. Just in Thedas, I'm not talking about real life, although you could debate that in real life, in my opinion. But I definitely like that, the fact that this basically just shows that everything the Chantry has written in its books, the history, could have been manipulated. Do not believe any of it. Some of it might be true, but the majority of it is probably either factually incorrect or has been changed on purpose. That's the thing also with stories, like history, our history as well, is the fact that we don't know what happened 800 years ago. We only have books, we only have documents, we only have testimonies from people who were around at that time of what happened, but we don't know what happened during that time. Anything could have happened and it may have changed. And I definitely think that's the message that's trying to come across, is that don't believe everything in your history books, because some of it might not be true. Unless you were there, take everything with a pinch of salt. I definitely think that's the message that's coming across there. Now, I'm not saying that is not things that happened like in the past 50 years. We have people who are alive to tell us that happened 50 years ago. But you know what I'm talking about. I definitely think that's very interesting. I definitely a good message in this thing is that history can be manipulated and changed to benefit people. And I definitely think that's the message that's come across it, especially with the Chantry, which is why I do not trust the Chantry. I do not trust the Chantry at all. I do think the Chantry serves its purpose, and with Liliana at its head, I definitely think that could be a good change. Now, not Hardened Liliana, the good Liliana, the proper Liliana, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, if you put Cassandra on the throne, I'm sure she'll do a fine job, but I think Liliana's the best option. I definitely feel that Liliana can lead the Chantry into the right way. Because, let's face it, the Chantry, according to the First Inquisitor, is a mere shadow of what it is meant to be. So, and then of course we get the boss battle with the dragon, which is actually a very good boss battle. It's a little bit different than the other dragon boss battles. We also get some new weapons. We also get a new Inquisitor armor, basically the armor of the Inquisitor, who was a mage. It's only available by mages apparently. I don't know if it changes depending on your class you play, but I really like the armor and actually wore it, and it's very, very good. I really like Jaws of Hakkon. I definitely think it is a good addition to the storyline. As I said, I don't think it's an essential DLC in my opinion, unless you're a lore whore like myself. I enjoyed it. I definitely think it is worth picking up in my opinion, and I definitely gotta give credit to BioWare for this one, giving us more insight into the Avar, but also the Inquisition. So I definitely really enjoyed that. I'm excited to see what other DLCs will come out that aren't, of course, like armor skins and all that. I actually want to see the next storyline DLC, and I definitely feel as though the way Jaws of Hakkon's playing out, it's definitely leading to more towards an epilogue DLC. Now there is new party dialogue. Now I didn't get all of it, of course, but I did get, in my opinion, some of the more interesting ones between Sarah and Solus. Those two had some really good banter between each other. I normally don't take the two of them, but I decided to take the both of them. And really, there's of course the theory that Lady Insanity put forth that Sarah might not be telling us the whole truth. Like, one thing that a theory that Lady Insanity put forward is that Sarah might be a spirit of some sort. And the way Solus talks to her about things, especially with the fact that he says at one point, you're a mere shadow or a fraction of what you could be, or what you used to be. Definitely, in my opinion, I don't know if he's talking about the fact that she could be more more elven, or she's more than what she appears. I don't know what that could mean, especially with a throwaway line that was mentioned by the ogre, which is the Avar mage or shaman, and the fact that spirits see the Inquisitor as someone who's glowing. Like, the Inquisitor glows to spirits, and Sarah mentions, you're the one that glows. So that kind of leads a little bit more towards it. Now, I don't think that's 100% true. I don't think she's a spirit. But also, there's some evidence to point out that she may be something like that. I don't know, which is kind of why I kind of romanced her, because I want to see what the frick happens in an epilogue DLC. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Jaws of Hakkon. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought of Jaws of Hakkon. Did you enjoy it? Did you like it? What was your favourite aspect to it? I definitely am interested to see what BioWare do next in the next DLC. But other than that, I think that's where I'll wrap things up. I thank you for watching, and if you want to keep up to date and see what more videos to come out of this involving Dragon Age or various other topics I want to talk about, feel free to click that subscribe button, and also check out my Patreon if you want to help support the channel. Other than that, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Ciao for now.